I'm Craig McMichael. I'm located in Kansas City, Missouri. Really teach anything around targets, clay pigeons, whatever you want to call them, or what you've heard, in any discipline around skeet, trap, sporting clays, fee task, anything with a shotgun and flying targets or rolling targets. That's my space. Yeah, so I've hunted all my life, and I went to a club one time and was shooting some trap and skeet, and a buddy's like, "Hey, you ought to shoot sporting clays." So I started doing that. Didn't think I would get into it this heavy. That was back in 2003, and then as I progressed through my shooting career, I got into coaching because I really enjoy helping people. I naturally help people, I think, with anything I do. So that's how I got into it. And it's just, it's one of those things where it helps you to become a better shooter. If you can learn from others and teach others, then you can actually learn yourself and progress and everything. So that's my passion around helping people and, watching the excitement of someone actually hit a target for the first time or get better. It's probably one of those things you just got to soak it all in. You get there, you see all the people. It's a little chaotic because you got so many people driving in and out. Probably just relax and talk to people that have been there before and get a feel for it. Kind of get organized because when you get there, your classes it's going to be a little crazy. People going everywhere, and just be on time and get your class early. That way, if you have questions for your instructors, they can walk you through all those questions and get you even more comfortable for the class. And bring your notepad and pencil because there's plenty to learn if you want to write it down and track everything. So that's probably my biggest advice for the first-time person at conference. And again, it could be stressful. If not, might not be, but just have as much fun because you'll be back the next year. I guarantee it. Yeah, for me, it's probably around the difference between training, practice, and competing. Most people don't understand the difference between those three. In fact, I think most people would say, well, training and practice is the same. They're really not. It's different levels of what you're doing and how you're preparing to become better and be a better shooter at whatever discipline you're doing. If it's three gun, pistols, rifles, shotguns, probably in anything you do really in sports, is just understanding those fundamentals and those phases you've got to go through and train, practice, and then go compete. Not everybody has to compete, but if you don't train and you don't practice, you definitely won't get better. So at the end of the day, too, I always ask people, what are you in the sport for, and what are you here to get out of the class? I'm in it for the competition, right? I want to beat everybody, even my best friend, right? So that's what I'm there for, is to win. Some people are in these sports just to have fun, right? Something to do, something to enjoy with their friends. But I always try to make sure they set their goals and be realistic of what their expectations are for doing the sport. Because a lot of people think, hey, we can go take a class from Craig and, shoot a few targets and then go out and shoot great. It's going to take more work than that. So. Yeah, most everybody, especially beginners, come in standing incorrectly. They typically stand real square to the target. No matter where the target's going, they usually face straight out of the stand. But most people stand like they're shooting a pistol in a shotgun stance for sporting clays and flying targets, and that limits them dramatically for targets going left and right to left, and they don't realize why they're missing. And a lot of people think it's because they have the wrong lead or something, but a lot of times when you're not standing appropriately, your body's restricting your movements. I see that almost, in a new group, probably 80% of people, men and women, kids, everybody, they're not standing appropriately to break the target where they need to. And then the biggest problem is most people don't have a plan either. They just get in the station and they just want to shoot, which is great. but eventually you need to get a plan because every target is different and you have to have a different plan for each one. Yeah, so since I've been doing this a few years, I've actually got quite a big group of ladies that have had either one or multiple classes from me. So I've actually started doing one class as an advanced class where we don't go over the basics anymore, right? In fact, in the description of the class, it's like we're not talking about safety much. We're not talking about, of course, you always go through safety, but we're not going over the basics. It's right into training, practice, competition. How do you set up on these two targets? How do you shoot a true pair? And then, all those things that you've got to start doing to get to that next level and really compete at a high level. So that's a lot of it. So. Well, that's a great question. I'm on Facebook, as I think a lot of people know. You can always reach out there to me. You can always call me directly and email me directly. That's probably the best way. I travel. I've gone to a couple places with some of the girl and gun ladies that I've met. I've been to Wisconsin. I've been to Tennessee. Been asked to come to Florida and Texas. So I do travel. But really, I don't have any sitting scheduled. So if you would love to get a group lesson or individual lesson, just reach out. I can figure out if we can get a schedule going. I can do that. So.